You are supposed to be a crook. You know that. The SEC, in effect, says you are. Your former financial officers, chief financial officers, say you are. That Richard Scrushy inflated earnings and betrayed his stockholders, betrayed his employees.
There's no evidence of any of that. And many of what the people have said is not true.
He told us his top financial officers committed the fraud without his knowledge.
You have to rely, you have to trust people. You have to believe, you have to delegate. I mean, you hire them, you pay them good salaries, you expect them to do the right thing. And I signed off on the information based on what was provided to me and what I was told.
You say you didn't keep track of the accounting.
CEOs don't do that. CFOs do that. Chief Financial Officer means he is the chief financial officer.
Here's how the SEC describes what it calls the scheme, your scheme. Each quarter, HealthSouth senior officers would present Scrushy with the company's actual earnings, and he'd compare them to Wall Street expectations. If the actual results fell short of expectations, Scrushy would tell his management to, quote, fix it by recording false earnings to make up for the shortfall.
That is not true.
This is the federal courthouse here in Birmingham where Richard Scrushy's fate could be determined. The prosecutors, as is their custom, wouldn't talk to us on camera before trial, and they would not let their witnesses talk to us either.
Not right now, gentlemen.
So far, 15 former HealthSouth employees have pled guilty, including all 5 of Scrushy's chief financial officers. Scrushy says they did the dirty work behind his back, but the prosecutors say that when the CFOs pled guilty, they agreed to testify under oath against Scrushy. Michael Martin, chief financial officer. Let me read from the court transcript when he pled guilty. The judge asked Michael Martin, did you and Mr. Scrushy discuss the fact that the numbers contained in the filings were false? Yes, sir. Did Mr. Scrushy direct you to do something with the numbers? Yes, sir. He told me to inflate the numbers, to fix the numbers so that they met Wall Street's expectations.
So is Mike Martin just a dummy? Just some guy says go do something to commit a fraud or a crime that will put you in jail and Mike Martin just does it? You don't believe that, Mike. I would never have done that. He is not telling the truth.
Tad McVeigh, CFO until early this year, 2003, pled guilty, told the judge Richard Scrushy was aware that the financial statement contained numbers that were incorrect.
This is, again, it's not true.
All these guys are liars, and you are knight in shining armor.
Mike, there are 50,000 people. You have 5 people that have made these claims out of 50,000 people. Let me make a comment.
But you're in charge. I mean, come on. You are.
Doesn't mean I'm a
King Richard.
No, I did not. No, you're not right.
McVeigh told the judge you tried to justify it by saying, quote, all companies play games with accounting.
I never said that to him, and he knows that.
Why would these chief financial officers, what you're saying is they committed the fraud? For what reason?
I certainly didn't commit the fraud. People know me. They know I wouldn't instruct somebody to do that.
What would be the motive of your CFOs to commit a fraud?
I really don't want to get into the deal, but every one of them has a motive.
But then he did tell us what he believes motivated his CFOs to falsely inflate earnings.
Promotions, bonuses, stock options, an opportunity to make a lot of money. There's incentives in it, tremendous incentives, power, greed. There's a lot of reasons for what they did. There was no motive for me to destroy a great company that I built, a company that I loved, my 4th child. There was no reason for me to do that.
He benefited more than anybody from this fraud. There's no question about it. 100 times fold.
Doug Jones, a former U.S. attorney in Birmingham, has filed a class action suit against Scrushy on behalf of stockholders who lost billions while Scrushy made hundreds of millions of dollars from the fraud. How?
In his stock options, his salaries, and his bonuses. And he has, for years, cultivated an image that this is my company. I'm the one that brought this company up. I have my finger on the pulse. I know everything that's going on in this company. I know the numbers. I know all of that, he told me, but I'm not an accountant.